Good evening. Thank you for joining the African American Chamber of Commerce of Hudson Valley, our webinar. The webinar today is going to be business banking, and our board member and great contributor, Jillian, will be doing the presentation. I would urge everyone on this call, webinar, Zoom, to definitely take a look at our website, which is www.aacchudsonvalley.org, so that one, you can know what's coming up, so you can see our different events that we have coming, different webinars. Our roundtable will be next week. We will have the legislator in the building. We have some great topics coming up. So please make sure you check us on our website. Make sure you check us on Facebook and on Instagram. And without further ado, I am going to give everything over to Jillian. Jillian, I'm going to actually make you the host so that you can share.
All right, let me know when you guys can see my screen. All good, guys? Can you see it?
Yes, great.
All right, fantastic. So tonight's topic is banking basics for small business, what you need to know. I don't think this is going to be super crazy or super long, but some really valuable information that you might like or might take advantage of for your business. And in tonight's agenda, we're going to cover really these three areas: the different types of business bank accounts, choosing a big bank account for your business, and how to open a bank account. And so what we're saying here is that every business needs banking services so that they can receive funds, pay bills, finance large purchases, and business banking is really an essential. I know we may have a lot of small business owners here who are bootstrapping their business, like meaning you're just starting up with seed money right out of your own pocket, making some side gig money, and it's just extra money, and you're just putting that into your personal savings and checking account. And that might be okay for a while when you're very just starting up. But once you decide to go official, you want to separate those funds quick, fast, and in a hurry. You don't want to commingle funds. You want to keep your business banking and your personal banking separate as much as possible. And so some of the benefits of business banking, it's also going to allow you to have better cash flow management. When you keep it separate from the rent money and the mortgage money and the grocery money, you don't have to worry about, oh, I forgot to pay this vendor, right? It's all separate. And we're going to discuss some of those features and benefits tonight, right? So the last seminar we did, we talked about business structures and LLCs, which are super popular everywhere you go online now. You'll have a business guru talking about it. And we talked about how LLCs give you protection from personal liability. Again, the benefits of separating your personal life from your business and providing legal protection so that if somebody sues your business, they don't take all the money you have personally. When you have a business bank account, it kind of extends that liability even more, right? So they kind of go hand in hand. Having your business funds separate from your personal funds means that if somebody comes back to you, we keep using the example of Kiki's hair braiding. She started out in her kitchen and her basement. And now she has a full-fledged storefront business. If you have a business entity set up, you have your LLC, you've got all of that, your business license, your EIN, and you're doing business, but you're commingling funds, that could actually just destroy the protection that you set up with your LLC. So you definitely want to remember to keep your funds separate because that's a part of your legal protection. They can say, well, you know what? She's using some of that money to pay her kid's school fee and she's buying gas and she's buying groceries with it. So it's really not separate. So we can go after that account too. So that's what we're protecting against. And that's why you don't want to mix your assets, and you want to allow yourself to have as much protection from potential lawsuits as possible. All right, so now let's get into it. So here are some about the types of checking accounts and savings accounts. It's not that different from your own personal accounts, like the process of establishing these. Um, it's very similar. And we're going to talk about what makes them different right now. So with a standard checking account, it's going to allow you to make payments to people and businesses, your vendors, right? It's going to allow you to do transactions with debit cards, credit cards, checks, and wire transfers and ACH transfers, right? Direct payment transfers. Or if you're paying an employee or a subcontractor, you can do payments that way with your business standard business checking. So it says here, your average business checking account has a monthly fee, sometimes called a monthly maintenance fee. And in many cases, you can waive the fee with a certain minimum balance requirement or level of activity, right? Banks are very competitive now. And I would advise you, especially if you're a new business and you're a small business, look for options that have no fees. There are many, many options out there, and they have a lot of free up to certain limits. So that's usually going to be more likely what you go for. Then we have what's called analyzed checking accounts. And this is where if you do have a bank account that has fees, they will analyze the amount of transactions you do, the volume of transactions, how many transactions per month, what's the dollar amount for those. And then depending if you meet their threshold, let's say, if you have up to 500 deposits a month and over $50,000, then we'll waive the $5.99 fee or the $9.99 fee that we charge every month, right? Or whatever the amount is. That's cool if you're doing very high volume business. There might be some benefit there, but most people aren't. And so this type of account, analyzed checking, where they're offsetting the fees with your transactions, it's usually for high activity accounts and high balance. You have to maintain a certain minimum balance and minimum number of transactions. All right. So then you have your interest bearing accounts, right? So that means most bank accounts, you guys might be familiar, pay almost nothing. They pay like less than 1% in a standard personal checking account. Very, very low. Some business bank accounts might pay, around 1%, 1.5, 1.2%, right? And that's all it is. It just means that you can earn interest in this type of account. And it's a feature. One bank might have that feature and another bank might not, because when you're deciding on opening your bank account for your business, you're going to be shopping around. You're going to be looking at who's offering what makes sense for my business. Do they have all of the types of features and products that I need at this bank, right? So having access to an interest-bearing account is just one additional feature. And in my opinion, why not if you can get it and if it makes sense for you, right? And then you have these other specialty accounts. Most of them you've probably never heard of, myself included, right? I'm familiar with a couple of them only because, like down here, real estate trust accounts. Those are, a lot of people are real estate investors now. Some people are landlords, and they have tenants. When you get your security deposit from your tenants, you're supposed to be putting that into a separate escrow account. You're not supposed to be cash flowing that, right? So that if and when the tenant can't pay or decides to leave, or they damage your property, that money is either refunded to them when they leave, or you take it towards the damage that they might have caused your property. But it's not supposed to commingle with your regular business checking, and definitely not with your personal funds, right? But a lot of these are, as you can see, for special lawyer transactions and different types of trust accounts. It's just to show you that depending on your type of business, there may be some type of specialty account that your business might need. And you would definitely get that advice from, if you're consulting with an attorney or a tax advisor, or certainly when you're going to look up what type of bank accounts do I need, those people will also be able to advise you that, hey, maybe you need to talk to a lawyer about this, and have them set up one of these specialty types of accounts or something else, right? So now let's look at business savings account. Again, nothing too crazy, not super different from what your personal account might be, right? But they offer relatively low interest rate and little flexibility traditionally, right? You may get an ATM card so that you can withdraw cash. They may limit the number of transactions you can do again. But pretty much all types of business savings account earn some interest based on your account balance, typically more than what a checking account would do, right? But again, it depends on the type of savings account you're using and which bank you're getting this account with. So here are some other types of savings account, a money market account, right? Those used to be really popular. I remember it was like a big trendy thing back in well, I won't say how long, but 20 years ago or so, it was a kind of oh, I have a money market account. It was a big deal because it was a higher interest checking account that people could use for their business. But the thing about these is they're still around. People still use them, but they usually require a much higher minimum balance to open these accounts. And also you have to maintain a certain balance every month as well, to get the interest rate and also to avoid paying certain fees. Then you have CDs, right? Certificates of deposit. Yes, you can use these for your business. And they tend to pay very high interest compared with, not in overall, but like compared to what a bank account would pay, the CD rates are usually much higher. So whereas your, business checking might pay 1%, a CD might pay 3.5% or 4%, right? So it's significantly higher, except that the drawback to the CDs is that they have a maturity date. So you might have a 6-month CD or a 2-year CD, which means you cannot touch the money at all once you put it into this type of account. Yes, you're earning a high interest, but that's the trade-off. And it's one of those things where you can use it as part of a strategy. If I know my business is going well, but in 6 months, I'm going to need to order, I have a bakery and I want to order this fancy new mega mixer because I love to make all kinds of cakes and muffins and whatever. And I need a big mixer and I'm going to need money for that. And you want to put that money aside somewhere safe, let it earn some interest. Or it could be something simpler like, I'm going to have a big tax bill next year. So let me set aside some money now. It'll be earning some interest, but at least I'll know I can cover my tax expenses. I might be able to cover some other little emergencies that might come up at the end of the year, right? So I have a 6-month CD or a 9-month CD. And those are some of the ways that you can use or strategize to use your high yield savings accounts and CDs. So high yield savings accounts, they've become more popular. And I think when these came on the scene, they actually took the place of the popularity of money market accounts because, again, the money market accounts had some restrictions. You needed high balances, things like that. With a high yield savings account, so many banks are offering them now, online banks, in-person banks, and they're offering very, very high rates. As you can see, I saw some that are offering 2%, some that are offering 5%, some a little bit more. And most of them don't have any minimum balance requirements and 0 fees. So this is a very, very attractive way to go. You can find these offers all over the internet, like every kind of bank. You can find them for your personal accounts and you can find them for business accounts, right? These are 2 very attractive options. So again, now we're going to talk about how do you choose your account. So one of the first things you've got to decide is, do I want to do online banking or do I prefer in-person banking? And there are advantages to both. If you are very comfortable online, if you're pretty savvy and you understand technology, you can do an online bank. Everything you need is online. If you're comfortable wiring money back and forth, using all the technology to manage your accounts, do online banking. If you are more of a community-based person, your business is very local and you have strong relationships in your community, then in-person banking might be better for you, just based on personality types. We're not even talking about features and benefits of each account, right? Just based on your personality. What do you like? What are you comfortable with? How adept are you at using technology? And the other thing is, where is your business, right? Is your business online? Are you doing business where people from other countries are signing in and ordering your products? Are you selling non-tangible, like digital products? Are you a life coach? Are you selling digital products and merchandise online, downloading ebooks and things like that? You never meet a local banker. You never need to, right? Or if you have an insurance agency where you are talking to the baker down the street and the guy with the auto mechanic shop, and you know the banker. So it depends on the type of business and the type of relationships your business have, where you're going to decide between online banking or in-person banking, or both. You don't have to choose just one. All right. So what are the considerations when you're choosing your bank account? Fees. Banks make so much money off of fees. It's like literally aside from loans, this is their primary way of making money, right? So I would advise definitely shop around. There are so many banks now that offer a lot of great services, a lot of great products, and they're waiving or do not have monthly maintenance fees. They don't have, why am I paying a cash deposit fee? I'm giving you money. You are then going to lend that money to other people. Why are you charging me money to put money inside a bank account? Makes no sense, right? All kinds of transaction fees, ATM fees. If you don't use their ATMs, you're going to pay a fee. Why? Right? Shop around, look for banks that don't charge fees or charge as few fees as possible. There are just too many good options now. But this is one of the number one things to look out for. And then you want to look at, so aside from the checking account or the savings account or the high yield savings or the CD, these are all the other types of banking products that you might need for your business. Right off the bat, a business credit card, right? Because this is how you might be ordering supplies that you need from your vendors. This might be how you pay for business licenses. This might be how you pay for gas, right? When you're traveling to see clients or traveling to go to conventions to look at new merchandise and new equipment that you need for your business. Airline travel. Business credit card is a very valuable thing because then you're going to start building business credit with this as well. You have loans and lines of credit, business insurance and business liability coverage. Some banks offer all of these things, even payroll services. The interesting thing, when you get down to merchant accounts, payroll services, and HR support, there are a lot of companies now that you can find this type of support through some kind of app. You'll have payroll apps that also track your mileage. You'll have HR support, and they can help you, with all kinds of things now. So you don't have to get all of these services from a bank, especially depending on what kind of fees they may charge you. You may be able to find this through a different service provider that can do a little bit more of a multi-service, less expensive way and easier access way for you to get that for your business. But these are all products that can be available in addition to getting your business savings or checking account. Okay. And then how do we open a business bank account? So this is what you'll need: your social security number, your tax ID number, right? Or your EIN, articles of organization, whether that be for an LLC or articles of incorporation if you're an S Corp or another type of corporation, your business license if you're doing a DBA, and then of course, if they do require a minimum balance to open the account, you want to start with that. Some or all of the above is what you'll need. And it's usually really, really simple. Again, if you're doing business online, you can open an account in less than 10 minutes. If you have all the documentation, you upload it, boom, 1, 2, 3, they're done. Some banks, you can upload everything and they might take like 24, 48, 72 hours to just review your application and then open the account and authorize you. But it's a pretty simple, straightforward process. Not entirely dramatically different from opening a personal account, but there obviously are other considerations as well. And that's our topic on banking basics. Thank you so much for joining us again at the African American Chamber of Commerce of the Hudson Valley. You can email us at info@aacchudsonvalley.org. And of course, here's our website if you want to check us out and join any of our future events.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Good.
It's so crazy now how technology, because as you stated, I was able to, somebody's in the waiting room?
Uh-oh. Am I supposed to let someone in?
Yeah, you were the host.
Well, where do I even see that? I'm so bad with this.
Okay, so
Are they gone?
hold on. I'm gonna take the host back.
Okay.
Reclaim host. Okay. So my experience is I actually did open up an account with Bank of America online, and it was rather easy. Like you said, I
Yeah.
uploaded my documents and I had the account number, the account the next day.
Yeah, they're
Literally.
pretty fast. It's pretty fast, pretty painless. You don't have to feel, one of the things that I like is like, you don't have to sit down in front of a guy with a suit that's going to ask you like a million questions and make you feel like awkward. It's like, no, it's like, boom, there's everything. It's really simple.
No, I thought it was actually pretty cool. Do we have any other questions from anybody else? I don't see anything in the chat. I just want to make sure before we finalize and tell you guys what we have coming up next that you don't have any questions. Alrighty, so I'm gonna say there's no more questions.
Oh, Susan. Hi, Susan.
Hello.
So I just want to thank everybody that is on the call. We have a roundtable discussion next Wednesday, and next week's discussion we'll be talking about, what are we talking about?
Black excellence in business.
Black excellence. I knew it has something to do with Black excellence, but I couldn't, I'm still not, the tagline that we use is still not for some reason coming to my brain.
So that's going to be a good one. That's going to be really nice.
Yeah.
And the next one's going to be amazing too, I think, in March for Women's Month.
For Women's Month, yes. So we encourage you guys to go on our website to look and see what events we have upcoming. As always, we try to stay punctual and respectful of other people's time. We hope that you enjoyed business banking and look forward to our next webinar, which will happen in 2 weeks. And that webinar is marketing. We're doing marketing 101.
Yeah.
So I look forward to seeing everyone on the webinar and also joining us for our roundtable discussion on Black excellence and what it means to you. Everyone have a good night. God bless.
Have a good night, guys. Take care.
Good night.